Blog Talk Radio.
So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is the Mr. Media Interview, recorded live on blogtalkradio.com from the new Media and American League Baseball capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. There are all kinds of magic. There's the classic Harry Houdini practice of pre-technology stunts that utterly baffled crowds. And there's the David Copperfield school of big stage TV magic that leaves crowds equally mystified, but suspicious that they've been somehow conned. And there are other branches of the modern art, of course, including Penn and Teller's hip Vegas style or Criss Angel's form of street theater magic. And then there is the masked magician, who tears it all down and reveals how the tricks are done. The Masked Magician, who stars in the second season of MyNetworkTV's Magic's Biggest Secrets, Finally Revealed, is actually Val Valentino, who joins me today. Val, welcome to Mr. Media.
Hello, hi, how are you? Thank you for having me
How are you?
on your show.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I got to ask you now, since your identity's been revealed, should I now refer to you as the unmasked magician?
Well, I guess you can say that. However, in this series that's on MyNetworkTV that airs tonight, there's one airing tonight. It's a 13-part series. I'm the producer on the show, and we're actually keeping it a little mystery if it is me or not. So we're giving it, we're not actually saying that it is at this moment.
I see. Okay, so I just blew it there, didn't I?
No, not at all. Because that's what we want. Our viewers have been asking, and we're just giving it a little bit of mystery.
Well, how did the mystery part come about? I mean, what got someone, maybe it's you, maybe it's not you, focused on being masked and being secretive about all this?
Well, that came about through Fox, and we did the 4 Fox specials that just, in ratings, just, went through the roof. And the idea started there, and then it went to Nash Entertainment. And Nash Entertainment, they actually produced the show. They went around the country, looked everywhere for magicians, and they talked to several magicians. I fit the criteria, and the rest is history.
Is it something that you felt strongly about originally in terms of, being that person who would, give away some secrets, break the magician's code, as all the PR had said?
Well, the way I learned magic was through books and through, research, and mainly practice and making my own illusions, my own gimmicks and different ideas. Today it's much easier. There's the internet where all the information is there. So I've been doing magic for a very long time, since I was 5 years old, and that's all I've ever done. I love the art of magic. I absolutely love it, and I think it's actually for everyone. Whoever's interested should be a part of the magic world. A lot of the magicians out there, they want to be the only magician, the world's greatest magician of this century, or whatever the title they want, and that's fine. But I didn't care too much for that. That didn't isn't a part of me. So I'm sharing the magic. I'm sharing the art. I'm promoting the art. I'm pushing magic, forward, where magicians have to come up with new ideas and new concepts, and they have, and they're doing that now.
It sounds like you would suggest that a lot of what you revealed was stuff that someone who would look hard enough would find it online, in books, somewhere else, same places that you found it. Magic today it's all over the internet. You have these I call it the new generation magicians that grew up with the internet, and it's even getting more so now. So everything that they want to know or learn is right there at their fingertips. And it's almost like there's a cyber world now of magic and sharing of knowledge and secrets, and as you might call them. And Val, how important is magic in a world of internet and cable TV and some space travel, things like that? I mean, at the turn of the 20th century, it was huge because, it blew people's minds, the things that Houdini and other people did. Is it as big a deal now? Are they still dazzled by it the way they once were?
Yeah, I believe so. It's just like, religion. Look how long religion has been around. And people have a willingness to believe and to believe in things and to want to believe in things. And that's, people put a hope and trust in, different areas of their life. So, magic, it's fun. So as an audience member, when you go see a magician, you're doing one of two things. You're watching the show, you let go of, disbelief, and you just enjoy the show, and, everything's trick. The magician is, doing trickery behind things that you can't see, and, that you're, being fooled with illusion. But you let go of that disbelief, and that's one way to look at the show. And the other way is the audience members that look at it like a puzzle. They enjoy the magic, and they're trying to figure out, how it's done. And with what we've exposed and given away, any magician can perform any of those illusions and still fool their audience. And all magicians really, they should know that, because there's more than one way to perform an illusion.
Well, I want to give our listeners a chance to call in if they like and ask a question, or if they've got something they'd like to say for Val Valentino, who may or may not be the masked magician. Give us a call at 1-646-595-3135. How different is your career today, or as a masked magician, perhaps, as opposed to before the first Fox special that caused such a stir? Before that, I had about 16 years working professionally through the casino circuit, and then with my live, stage show, and then that's progressed into television. Nobody expected where this was going to go, and somehow the mask and the masked magician, the name, the image, it really has hit the psyche of a lot of different countries, and in a way that's unexplainable, even by the press when they talk about it, and because I have a lot of fans around the world. Mm-hmm. Were you surprised by all the attention after the first special and then the second special, and how much of what we read and heard was hype in terms of other magicians being upset and all that kind of thing? It seemed, I look back on some clips, some news clips, and it seemed like it was a little overdone, a little overripe.
Yes. Yes, that's what was pushed. But however, it was true. It was happening throughout the magic world. All of a sudden they didn't know what was going on. First of all, I started doing the shows on the side of the magicians. after looking at the proposal, and so at first we refused it, but that wasn't going to stop the show. The shows were going to air anyway. So we figured, all right, well, it'd be a lot better to have a magician on the inside working with the show as opposed to working, on the outside. Doing nothing, just letting them do whatever they want. So it just turned out it happened to me being me. I'm the one that took the risk and put my life, my career, my everything on the line. Actually thinking for the betterment. Thinking you're actually helping. Because in the show, it's great because, we do illusions that are hundreds of years old that magicians would never see or do, right down to illusions that are, done today and in between. So the show itself is great in that respect. Last week's show, we did this illusion where this girl wore this beautiful hoop gown, and that illusion's hundreds of years old. And today, magicians could only talk about it because there's nobody, performing that illusion. So we preserved a lot of the history, and that was one of the points that really intrigued me about doing the show.
I think one of the things I saw that you had said was that you may know one of the secrets, but you don't know all of the secrets. Is that the case?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And just like David Copperfield is well known to repeatedly say, because he's often asked, what do you think of the masked magician in different interviews, that, any illusion that, I would do, or let's say, he can do, he has 6 other methods of doing it. So at any time he can do what looks like the same trick, illusion, but it's done completely different. So you can go see his show, think he's doing it one way, and then, it's done another way.
Now, have you ever been asked to dissect like a Copperfield performance or a Criss Angel, someone specific, or is it mostly that you're taking these classic illusions and then explaining?
You mean, say, like working together with a magician or something like this?
Well, not necessarily with them, but let's say that in this case, MyNetworkTV said, you know what, Copperfield's doing this big show. Why don't we do a separate show where you disassemble what he's done and explain to everyone what he's done?
Oh, I see. No, it's more looked upon as what's going to be entertainment, what the audience is going to like, what they're going to want to see. We're not going after anybody or anything like that. It's about entertainment, and we have things in the show that young kids can perform themselves, and so we show some easy things, and along with medium-sized to grand illusion, where you're flying in the air and those type of things.
What was the first trick you ever learned as a kid?
The very first trick was the ball and vase trick. My father took my brother and I to the magic shop, and I was very young at the time, so my brother was more interested, looking at the magic stuff. But I came across the one trick. They just happened to buy for me because, I think it was my brother's birthday or something, and he was allowed to pick whatever he wanted. But so I wound up with the ball and vase trick. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the whole, tricking people, the whole illusion part and everything. And at that age, about 5 years old, I knew at that moment that this is what I was going to do. And then it was, pursuit of, the history of magic. Anything I could see, learn about magic, I was there.
Was there anyone that mentored you or that trained you or that you were able to go to when you had problems or questions about what you were trying to do?
In a sense, my mentor, his name is Joe Berg, right on Hollywood Boulevard many years ago. There was Joe Berg's Magic Shop. It was upstairs, just alongside, I think, Fredericks of Hollywood up there. And it was one of those old type of magic shops that had a certain magical feel to it, like you would see in a Twilight Zone movie or something. And it was the greatest shop. So I used to go there quite often, and Joe Berg kind of took me under his wing, and, he would, let me search around his shop, stay there all day long, and I would learn how certain gimmicks worked, and we'd exchange card tricks, and he was my sponsor into the Magic Castle and different organizations, and so a magician by the name of Joe Berg, and he was the owner of Joe Berg's Magic Shop on Hollywood Boulevard. He's no longer alive.
Oh, I was going to say, isn't it funny how I'm not? How old are you now?
I'm 50.
Okay, I'm 48. Isn't it funny how there was that generation? It wasn't that long ago where Mom and Dad would let us wander off and hang around a place like that all hours of the days and night. Today, Joe would probably be arrested for letting kids hang around him, and he'd be suspected of all kinds of horrible things.
Oh yeah, no, that's the truth. No kidding, huh? Oh my, times have changed. Yeah.
So what was Joe like? I mean, you obviously spent a lot of time around him.
He loved magic, and I guess he taught me, I saw that love for the magic, or he seen that I had that love and the care for magic. So he took me under his wing, and that's where I started with the sleight of hand stuff, and progressed from there into stage. I did the comedy circuit, as they say. They would always have a magician, and then from there I did the Merv Griffin show, and some producers from Las Vegas that were putting a show here, Playboys Girls of Rock and Roll. They seen the telecast and found me in L.A. and said if I wanted to come to Vegas, and that was it. I had been doing casino work from then and on after. So now I tour. I tour with a big show. We do large arenas all over. In fact, in 2 days I leave for Chile, Santiago, Chile, to do some TV work, and we're going to talk about a tour while I'm there.
Was there anyone else that while you're learning at Joe Berg's place, was there anyone else who is working now that was coming along about the same time you were through there? Certainly.
A lot of the magicians, gee whiz. Yeah, it would. I don't know the year that he actually closed his shop down, and but the magicians. I mean, there wouldn't be names that would be known. There's very few magicians that that are known. Copperfield or Criss Angel, mass magician level.
Well, it's a tough business to develop a name that people recognize. And I mean, as you say, there's just not that many magicians that people can name. I mean, maybe on one hand you can name everybody.
Right.
So it's fairly significant that you've built a reputation from that.
Right. Yes, and it's remarkable to me how the public became the fans. At the time, because I was working on the magician side, although we couldn't make that public, so the magicians were just angry and saying that what a bad guy I am. But we're actually in there, working on the magician side. It was very strange, very, very, very strange. And to this day, many magicians, they still don't know and they still don't understand what really went on. And, hopefully they would have learned something from it, but, the organizations, magicians' organizations, they have their way about things.
Now you don't sound as if you're bitter about any of that. Are you welcome at the Magic Castle, for example?
Well, I suppose.
Well,
I was there a couple months ago, and it had the evening there. It's great as always. There's a lot of magicians who are a fan. There is a handful of magicians that are angry, and they're usually the magicians that aren't a part of the magic world, or either they're coming up, or they're just want to be angry about something. Because I could make a coin disappear, show the same trick, making a coin disappear, to you, 20-something different ways. There's always more than one way to do any trick and any illusion. Many ways to do any illusion.
Who is there anyone out there? I guess among the major magicians that most people recognize, is there anyone out there doing work that you look at and you go, I don't know how they do that?
No, not at this point. It's been too many years of working with magic, and illusion, and no. Although there are some magicians I admire their work very much. There's of course David Copperfield. His dedication and to his work itself is amazing. And Lance Burton, he's just a great guy and fabulous magician. Mm-hmm. And then beyond that, there's not too many more.
Really?
That are known.
What about like when Penn and Teller do something, or are they more comedy than magic these days?
Yeah, Penn and Teller they're great guys, and they're a lot of fun, and but they do a lot of comedy. There's a lot of talking, and I know when I travel around the world, I ask about, who they know magician-wise, and usually it's just pretty much it's Copperfield, David Blaine, sometimes Houdini, a lot of times Houdini, and then the Masked Magician. But other than that, like Penn and Teller, because it is probably because it's in English, they have a certain type of audience as well. May not be as worldwide known as Copperfield and Lance and the Masked Magician.
So tell me about this second season of the show, which let me give the information out again. It's called Magic's Biggest Secrets Finally Revealed. It's the second season. Started, I think, on March 2nd. It's on Monday nights at 9 p.m. What, if anything, is different about this season than last season for people who haven't caught it yet?
Yeah, well, actually, they started the season that they started last November. They started with those because they had a lot of requests to repeat those. Those are being repeated at this very moment. And then in the next couple weeks or so is when the actual shows that haven't been seen will be aired. So they're just playing the whole season and tagging on the new stuff that hasn't been seen. So. For those of you who missed the beginning of them, they're showing them right now.
Oh, okay. So, you want to describe the show a little bit while we have another minute or two in terms of,
Sure. Yeah. Oh, the show is great. You know, it's a lot of fun. It's in this old abandoned warehouse, and it actually really is an old abandoned warehouse. It has a great feel to it. When we first started with the idea of the concept of the show, you know, we wanted something different. We decided not to go with, you know, a Vegas stage type of show and everything. So we created this whole mysterious persona that we stayed with from the original series, and we do you know, grand illusions, you know, from making trains levitate, walking on water, and you know, flying in the air, and you know, like I mentioned, you know, small tricks that, you know, people at home can fool around with and have fun and fool their friends, and it's all really wonderfully done with a great director, Don Weiner, and there's a Mitch Pileggi is the voice of the show.
Oh, from the X-Files.
The X-Files, right? And so we have a lot of sci-fi fans, and the show in general is just a lot of fun because you watch it, you know, you've seen, okay, that's the illusion, and then you know that, you know, this sequence is going to come, you know, afterwards. So you have a few moments there to try and figure out what it is. And, you know, just whole families, I get emails from, you know, you all sit down and we watch the show, and, you know, they just have a lot of fun watching. So the show has been really successful. It's really, really good.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Val, my last question, well, maybe I should ask this of the masked magician. What is your greatest secret?
My greatest secret, or the masked magician's greatest secret. Well, technically, I am the masked magician, Val Valentino, the masked magician. You know, I'm the original masked magician. But on the show, we're not saying yet. That's just that one little part. As the masked magician, what's my greatest secret? Well, it really isn't a secret, but it is, and that is that I really believe in what I am doing, and you know, in educating, you know, a whole new generation. On my space and you know, my website, you know, www.themaskedmagician.com. I get emails all the time from, especially the young generation, and the people who started to learn magic 10 years ago, you know, from the first specials, and they're learning it now from the internet, and that has been really, really, really wonderful, because that has always been a dream of mine, to really just spread you know, the knowledge of the art, that you know, anyone can become a part of it if you want to, you know. Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, you can catch Val Valentino, a.k.a. the Masked Magician, every Monday at 9 p.m. on your local MyNetworkTV station on Magic's Biggest Secrets Finally Revealed. And to learn more about the Masked Magician, check out his website, www.themaskedmagician.com. That's all solid, themaskedmagician.com. And I think, Val, you just mentioned that you have a MySpace page as well.
Right, exactly. And it's the same thing. It's the Masked Magician, at MySpace.
All right. Well, Val, it was a very interesting half hour. I felt like I learned a lot, and I'm always been a magic fan, so it's a lot of fun to talk to you, and I wish you continued success with the show and your live shows as well.
All right. Thank you very much. It was great to be on your show.
Thanks so much for joining us on Mr. Media.
Okay.
And
thank you.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
All right, folks, thank you. For another magic-related interview, you can surf over to our main website, www.mrmedia.com. That's mrmedia.com, where you can listen to my earlier conversation with Star Price, the executive producer of the Showtime series Penn and Teller's Bullshit. And please think about writing an online review of Mr. Media. casting a vote for Mr. Media, or marking Mr. Media as one of your favorites. Whether you listen on Blog Talk Radio, MySpace, Pointer Online, Friendster, Orkut, Bebo, High Five, Tag, Multiply, Zanga, Yahoo, NetVibes, Digital Journal, Podcast Pickle, Vox, Folio, Mediafly, Podfeed.net, Blueberry, Zencast, or Odeo. Yeah, we're in a lot of places, folks. Subscribe to Mr. Media on iTunes, and you'll never miss a show. Just search Mr. Media Interviews from within iTunes, and subscribe for free. You can also listen with a piece of string and a tin can in many locations. If you've got an idea for a guest, email me directly at bob@andelman.com. That's ANDELMAN. You can also follow me on Facebook or on Twitter, www.twitter.com/Andelman. Thanks so much for joining us today. I always appreciate when you give up a little piece of your day to spend it with Mr. Media. Thanks for listening, and come back real soon, everybody.